Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to High Trust Coaching Live. I am Hope Bourman. I am the Divisional President for Todd Duncan's High Trust Coaching. I have with me a very, very special guest, Linda Davidson. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning. So glad to be here.
Thank you. So I want to take just a few minutes to introduce Linda. For those of you that don't already know who Linda is, I wanted to make sure that everybody kind of just had a basis of who she is and how amazing she is. So Linda has 23 outstanding years as a mortgage professional. She leads an outstanding, amazing team. She's been named D Magazine top producer for the last 20 years. She's honored as one of the top 50 women in America who have made their mark in business. I love that. She's helped tens of thousands of people in home ownership. Linda is a respected leader in her community, in her industry. And last but not least, Linda is one of our founding members of Elite. So welcome, Linda Davidson.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This will be fun.
Yeah, it is going to be fun. So as Elite is in open enrollment right now through Monday, we thought that would be a great idea to give everybody kind of maybe a behind the curtain look at what it means to be Elite. So Linda, as a founding member, what was your initial motivation to engage in Elite with Todd Duncan?
You know, I have a statement that I heard the other day that I absolutely love, and I wrote it, and I have it on the other screen next to me, but it says, "We are all an instructor or coach away from doing what we want." What is it? And so, as when Todd decided to do Elite, it brought me back to when I heard that statement. It brought me back to when Todd decided to do Elite. Why would you not want to surround yourself with some of the top people in the industry who we coach each other, we mentor each other, and then you've got Todd coaching on top of that. So it's like, if you want to grow, if you look at the any top athlete, if you look at any type of business person who is top in their game, they have a coach, they have a mentor, they have someone who's helping them get to the next level, who's giving them accountability, is doing those things that are needed to be done. And so here we are in the top coaching in the industry, and why would I not want to be a part of that? How cool is that, right? I mean, to be surrounded by some of the top players in the industry, and then be taught even more by Todd, and be able to be part of his teachings, and even more to a smaller level of the Elite. I mean, I can just look back in the last few years of Elite, and just some of the memories that we've made have been amazing. I mean, we've had so much fun. And in addition, we've learned so much, and I've grown in being able to impart that to my team and to the leaders of my team. I mean, I come back every Elite session and like, okay, then then they have to listen to, but okay, this is what we're going to do to make this better, make this better, make this better. And I look back in the growth, and I can't even imagine where I'd be today without that leadership and that mentorship and that, and then just surrounding yourself with people who maybe have got this little piece figured out that I'm still struggling with, and this is what we're doing, and so it's been so cool to be a part of Elite.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know it's and whenever you walk into that room with the Elite members, there is an energy in that room that is unlike any other that I've ever experienced in my career. Yeah, absolutely. So, you talked about, some of the big aha moments you've had over the years in Elite, and I was wondering, if you would be willing to share anything in particular that, that maybe kind of took you out of your comfort zone, maybe something that you didn't think was possible, that all of a sudden became possible for you, or that you would be willing to share with us?
Sure. You know what? It's just a little raw, but absolutely. Some of it's about business, some it's about personal. But I grew up in government housing, and so I was always that kid. She's that girl that lives in those projects down there. And we wore homemade clothes, and we didn't even own a car until I was 12, and so so it just was. I still struggle in being that girl, and the thing that was probably the most, and I don't remember where we were when we were having this in Elite, was I am good enough. I am better than good enough. And again, maybe somebody else has a totally different revelation, and there's been so many aha moments walking, back from that. But being just basically understanding I am good enough for this. And I deserve this place in the room. I deserve this seat in the room. And how cool is that, right?
Boy.
And again, everybody's going to have their different aha moments because it depends on where they are in their life, in the personal life, in their business life. But the releasing those limited beliefs is one of the things that I think that Elite is so good at. Because no matter how good you are and how much business you've done and how much you feel like you've grown personally, sometimes we can be that little kid back there in the projects, or kid that whatever it is, right?
Sure.
And we need that amazing teaching and that amazing mentorship and amazing coaching can keep us going. You are good enough. You are strong enough. You deserve the seat in the room. And it's been fun even for myself to see others in the room and watch those light bulb moments. And you can almost just physically see the light bulb when it happens. And and I know you and I both are observer people. We just love doing that. That's our kind of our nature, right?
Yes.
And watching those light bulb moments that, and you're like, they just got it. Whatever it was, that has been one of my most fun things to do in Elite, just watching aha moments, But even in the hope, one of the things with Elite that I have loved is obviously having access to Todd at any time that, if we need, I've got this problem, can I run it by you and get your advice? I mean, that in itself is amazingly invaluable. I mean, how crazy and valuable is that, right? From one of the, being a student of Todd's for years and just having his wisdom and understanding and have that more from a phone call away is pretty amazing. But it's also just what the mentorship from each other, just sitting in during lunch and say, hey, how do you do this? How do you, and I always make it whatever I've got. I always, because you get in what you get back what you put in, right? Yeah. So when I leave for every Elite session, or when we're having it on Zoom or whatever it is, I come with 2 or 3 things at that point of where I'm struggling, because I want to make sure that I'm asking those right questions.
Right.
And so when we're doing live, I always make sure okay, these are the 3 things that, or I'll ask my leads, lead members in my team, what do we need to know? Where are we struggling? Or I can just pick up the phone, but sometimes it's just nice to sit down and say, hey, how are you doing this? How did you work through this challenge?
Right.
And that in itself, just having that mentorship from the every person in that Elite,
right,
it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Or they'll just say something during the time, and I'm like, duh, because I may not even know I had that problem, or that it was something that I was not doing it right, or not doing it as best as I could. How's that?
Exactly.
And more efficiently. And I would be like, well, that's a dull moment, but those are just been, there's been so many of those moments. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And then we just come back and we implement, and that's been even more fun, getting that implemented.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. One of the things that I noticed the first time I came to an elite was two things. One, new members that are coming into elite, they feel a little intimidated because of the company that they're in.
Yes.
And Linda, you do such a tremendous job of letting people know, you know what, they weren't elite when they walked in this door either, right?
Or they didn't feel like it, right? They just felt like
or maybe they didn't feel like it, or they didn't own it. Right, exactly. And so, and the other thing that I noticed that was so impressive to me was the willingness of the elite advisor, board of advisor, to share. So when, they just open up and hand it all over to you. It's just the willingness, the enthusiasm to share and to, here it is, here's my plan here, and then, that's amazing to me.
It is. It's open book. And so, what happens in elite stays in elite. So we have, we've heard personal things, we've heard professional things. We can get raw sometimes, but what happens in elite stays in elite. As far as, we do, it would never be used well, this is what he said there in elite. Well, we would never do that because it is such an honor to be part of that group and to be held in that group, and knowing that you're with some of the top people in the industry and learn from each other, because none of us have figured it out 100%. I don't care how good you are, how many numbers you're doing, even if you were the top originator in the US, none of us have figured it out 100%. Every single day, the thirst in that room for knowledge, and that thirst for growth, and that thirst for improvement, personal and business, is just, I think that's the buzz that we come into, because we're all there with wanting to be better every single day. And we're there to learn that every single day, here's how we can be better. And, personal and business, it's been pretty amazing to see that, and just learn from each other, and then have Todd lead it on top of it.
Exactly.
We're you couldn't go to the best, in my opinion, you could not go to the best university in the world in the mortgage and learning the mortgage industry what you learn in elite. Because, obviously you learn a lot from universities, and that's wonderful, but to learn specifically how to be better, to be smarter, to be more efficient, to grow personally in business, whatever, that group is the mastermind group of ideas that just, it's amazing. Pretty amazing. It really is. And this year, Hope, a lot of people look at it and say, well, we've done great numbers this year. Well, it's been low hanging fruit this year, where you cannot put because I was looking at numbers last night and just so grateful for the numbers that we've had this year. It's crazy. We're up 57% from last year, pretty crazy numbers.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it just, you don't want to rest on that, because a lot of that has been low hanging fruit, right? That's going to shift, because seasons come, right? Life is seasons. So seasons come. So you have to have that system and those systems in place when seasons shift, because they do. And so you have to have those ready. Well, how do you have those ready? You surround yourself with this excellence that you have in this group, and then Todd leading it on top of it, and you are ready for whatever season it is. Even this year, we've all been, crazy, right? Just crazy this year. And we have talked about efficiencies. Let me tweak it here.
I'm going to ask you that question. Yes.
Yeah. How do you take care of your support team so that you retain them? How do you, recruiting and retention has been a big, huge thing, and retention and recruiting of ops, which has been the first time that we've really had, quote unquote, that problem in a long, long time. So many great ideas that I've picked up from just the group for that, and sharing of ideas, right? Even if remotely, that share a little bit more than normal.
Yeah.
And then just, if we have a personnel, a team member issue, how do you fix it? One of the sayings that I actually have it taped to my monitor, that one of the elite members said this year, and it was just stuck to me because we had a situation, and it's be a leader, not a savior. And those type of things are those all-home moments, regardless of the time period in the season that we're in, that are like,
Yeah, it's almost as if they can only happen in that environment.
Oh, only because that environment is there to nurture that mentorship and that learning environment at that level. You can have other environments where you learn from each other, but at that level, you can only, I don't know of any other group that can offer that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So Linda, there seems to be, and I've noticed and experienced the level of accountability when you're in this group. I had one of our returning members have a conversation with me just recently, and he says, I'm absolutely, renewing for 21. He says, I cannot, even think about not being accountable to this group of people. So I execute because I am held so accountable, and the implementation that I see in Elite is beyond everything I've ever seen. And I coach at master level, and I see a lot of people that are great at implementation, but boy, Elite, it's a whole other game show. It's a different pitch.
Absolutely. You want to continue to earn your seat at the table. So you're there but you wouldn't be there if you didn't want to grow, if you didn't want to implement, if you didn't want to be better daily. You would not want to be there. So how cool is that to have someone come in and I love that first session that we have every year, because you see the newbies.
Yes.
And like, it's fun to watch them, because it's like, that they're realizing, holy moly, I just hit the mother load, so
so I have arrived.
Yes.
Yes, I know. I was talking to a prospective candidate who qualifies from, she qualifies from, production and income and, her place in the industry. And she said to me, she said, Hope, I don't know what I can bring to Elite, because one of the questions that we ask when you were applying for Elite is, what is it that you would like to get from Elite? And what is it that you feel as though you can bring to Elite? And it was interesting how they, sometimes they, especially when they're newbies, their eyes are getting really big and they're thinking, I don't know that there's anything I can bring. What can I bring?
That is such a great question. And we all bring gifts. You would not be at that level if you didn't have gifts, right?
Yes.
And so we all bring gifts to the table. And one of the things that's wonderful about Elite is discovering where your gifts and where you shine, and where how to even make those grow, but then share those also. And Todd's so good at bringing those out too. He's so good at pinpointing the gifts that each of us have, and how we can help each other. In that, someone may bring up an idea and he would say, hey, RJ, can you talk about that? Because I know that you have, that's one of your masteries. So where he's got this other, and so someone else would speak to that, or Marty, or whoever it is, with Wally, or, there's so many amazing, I'm not going to start naming names because there's so many.
No last name.
That in itself is so cool, right?
Sure.
Yes, that we learn from each other, but he's so good at taking and understanding. Todd's so good about knowing where your gifts and pulling those out and making those shine. And I think that is where someone at that level would be able to give back into an Elite, because they would benefit from what they're sharing because now we're pulling their gifts out.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, I see that all the time, and I always kind of see it as almost I guess a sanctuary, because everyone in Elite is operating in a very, very public arena.
Yes.
And this is the one place that they can come and be almost a little humble and be able to, be with like-minded people, and to maybe even be a little vulnerable, would you say?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And because again, I mean, we're so careful. It's what happens in Elite stays in Elite. We are so careful. This is not to go and get recruited. You are, because there's many companies represented in this group, and that's not a bad thing, right? Because we want to all learn from each other, and every company is going to be a little bit different on how they do things, but if each company, just like individuals, have strengths and weaknesses, right? So we learn from each other in that, but but you do want to come humble. Absolutely come humble, because if you're humble, then you're hungry. And if you're not humble, then you typically aren't hungry to learn, to grow, to be better personally, business-wise, and such. And so it's an amazing group. I mean, I can't fathom not being a part of it. I just, it's that FOMO, fear of missing out, right? But I just can't fathom part of this group every year. I mean, that would be horrible, because I just want to continue to grow. I want to continue to learn. I want to continue to mentor others now. And how fun is that, to be able to take these ideas and then mentor others too? I mean, that's so much, it's like so cool. So
Exactly.
what an opportunity that is awarded there. I mean, gosh, who gets that? Who gets to do that?
Right, exactly. And those are the intangibles when I'm talking to people that are interested in hearing about Elite. And I'm telling them, what the program is and what the makeup of it is, and the retreats and the webinars and the coaching with Todd and all of those things. And none of that really communicates the intangible of what you've been talking about, which is why I thought it was such a great idea to have you on, is like all those things that you can't touch or feel.
Yes.
Actually, I think you can feel them, right?
A little bit, but when you get there, I mean, you can't, having that, it's so hard to express what happens in that room, and that synergy and that energy and that sharing. And again, personal and business, you grow. You can't help but grow.
Right.
I mean, I can't fathom that you could do any different, because you're in the middle of like-minded, high energy people who want to continue to be the best in what they can be. Yes. And to grow from each other and learn from each other, and the mentor, and then just having Todd as that leader. Crazy. Yeah, pretty crazy.
It absolutely is, and it's been amazing to participate and engage and get to know everyone. And it was interesting. I think the first retreat that I had attended was out on the beach, and Todd had us all go out individually by ourselves and ask ourselves these series of questions that he had given us. And we came back, and one of the Elite members had talked about a certain challenge that he had. And I'm telling you, all of the entire board of advisors was saying, okay, well, let's do this, and here, I'll send you that, and we'll do this. And what was even more amazing was the next time I saw that member, he had already implemented it.
Yes.
It was like a few weeks later, it was like done. He just implemented it. It was just really amazing to me.
But he didn't have to reinvent the wheel. He had the how-tos. He already had it there. All he had to do now was just plug and play into his system.
Right.
And tweak it for his business, but still, it's not reinventing the wheel. Why start over from scratch? You've got some of the brightest minds in the industry sitting in that room. Well, how wonderful to get to learn from each other, and this is years of putting this together. Now let me just hand it to you. That that's awesome. I mean, crazy awesome.
It is, and you can't find that, anywhere else. And I kind of found this year in 2020. I mean, obviously, 2020 has been a wild ride,
Yeah.
and being a member of Elite, in 2020, I found that a lot of our conversations, as you were saying earlier, was very tactical. It
Yeah.
was, it was
Very much so.
leadership, it was support staff, it was retaining staff, it was recruiting staff, it was systems, operations. How do we make it tighter, cleaner, faster?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
So
it was
for
fun.
anyone that's thinking about Elite, and wanting to get more information, Linda, what would you share with us would be, some things they should be considering, and engaging with Elite?
That's such a great question. So,
Yeah.
I have an Elite jacket, and I have to show you my
Yay.
Elite. And I wear this jacket a lot. I wore it specifically today for you, Miss Hope. But when I go out in the public and people stop me and say, "What's Elite?" It's so much fun to get to share with them what Elite is, and to do it in the elevator speech. It is a mastermind group of like-minded and professionals in the mortgage industry who want to grow every single day, who want to be better every single day, who want to hit mastery and levels of their life that we come together and help each other to achieve those goals. And that in itself is Elite.
Yeah, I think the key word is in there is mastery.
Yes.
Because you're already accomplished, have reached a certain level, a certain peak.
Yes.
But that mastery is something that I believe is, we always want to be a student and a teacher, right?
Yes.
So, that mastery is that, what is that, truly mastering those things that are important to you, that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then have the mentors around you to teach you that are already there, or maybe they've mastered that particular area where you've mastered another particular area, and we share and learn and grow together. It's just, what a crazy mastermind think tank that is specifically to the mortgage industry. It's just, you can't duplicate it.
Right. So, Linda, you mentioned a couple of times in our conversation something that is one of our founding principles, and that is, what happens in Elite stays in Elite.
Yes.
Can you unpack that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. We've had Elite people, members literally break down about a personal situation, and it's mentorship there, and caring, checking on them later. Okay, how's that going? How did that help? I personally, and just in all fairness and rawness, I had an Elite member help me tremendously through a personal issue that we were having with a family member. And I knew that they had similar dynamics in their household. And so that was a huge help for me personally. But what happens in Elite stays in Elite. And so regardless if they're talking about numbers, or talking about how what happens as far as their P&L, or happens in their in things that they're struggling with, that it never goes outside the room, because we would never want that to ever be used in the industry if someone's trying to recruit against them on a loan officer in their team, maybe, or a support team or whatever. We would never want that to it's a family, and you surround your family, and you do not you don't break that trust. That
It
trust
never has been. I
have never seen it been broken.
Yeah.
And I've been, from the day one I was part of Elite, I've never seen it broken.
Right, exactly. And that is the code of honor.
Yes,
right.
It
and
is.
Being a member of Elite, and it's something that's well respected and carried out and protected, and all of those things.
Yes,
right.
It is.
So I mentioned earlier that we have open enrollment right now through Monday. And I also mentioned that Elite is a by invitation only membership. We only allow about 25, maximum 30. Todd said I can go to 30 this year. And we already pretty much have it filled up. But if you're interested, you can go to Elite, at hightrust.com/elite. There's an application there for you, and going ahead and just complete the application. I will get it. If you have any questions or want to talk a little bit more about Elite, please don't hesitate to give me a call or shoot me an email at hope.bourman@hightrustcoaching.com. And Linda, anything else you want to leave before we go? Thank you, by the way, so much for this conversation. It exceeded my expectations, although my expectations were pretty high. So thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. Thanks for letting me come and talk about this group. I mean, it just I can't say enough about this group. My family knows how important this group is to me. I talk about obviously not the details, but we talk about this group and what we've learned, and they know, oh, you're going to Elite. I know you always love that. They know how important Elite is to me. And it has been to the growth of our team and the growth of ourself and ourself personally. And I just want to challenge, if you feel like that yes, it's been a great year for all of us, right? But again, a lot of that has just come because of the rates being so historically low and the factors of the business. But if you want to challenge yourself to grow personally, to grow business-wise, and be part of a group like this that is just a think tank and a mastermind group of top people in the mortgage industry, and learn from each other, man, I'd be racing and call you real quickly, Ms. Hope, for sure.
Thank you. You know what? I couldn't put it any better myself, so I'm going to leave it right there with Linda's challenge. And I look forward to hearing from everyone. Linda, if I don't get to see you, happy holidays. Yeah. And thank you so much again. And to everyone, happy holidays from everyone here at High Trust. And have an amazing, amazing holiday season.